Well, hello and a very warm welcome to the Sound of Silence with myself, Drum People. And today I'm hanging out with amazing musicians right here on the Sound of Silence. They'll be performing two of their original songs and also be sharing their experience in the music industry. You don't want to miss out on this. It's going to be magical, mind-blowing. Look, and of course, this show is made possible by Turnkey Music, a music shop based in Malibongwe Drive in Randburg. Do you need musical equipment? It's called the Producer's Shop. Come check them out. You can also call them or check them out on social media, and I'm sure they'll be able to assist and help you. If you have missed any of these shows, head to DNTV Demand and catch up on all our previous episodes. One more time, a very warm welcome to the Sound of Silence with myself, Drum People. The Sound of Silence with Drum People. All right, welcome back to the Sound of Silence with myself, Drum People. And you know I hang out with cool guys, right? Another set of amazing guys right here on the Sound of Silence. You don't want to miss out on our chat. Bradley and Ian.
Good to be here.
Welcome to the Sound of Silence, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent, man. Bradley, tell me, look, what does music mean to you?
I think music for me has always been a place of safety and solace. It's one of the few places I can go without judgment, even though this industry is critique and judgment, and that's kind of where we get our listenerships and our viewerships from. But it's always been a place I can truly express myself without any hinges.
That's
there's a lot of stuff I say in my music that I don't really say out loud.
You can even say it for me to hear.
There's a lot of space to really be yourself.
That's right.
In music.
That's right.
Yourself.
For you, Ian?
Yeah. To hinge and hook on to what he said, there's a lot of stuff that I cannot say that I can express through my guitar and through other instruments. It's a language that bridges all the cultures for me.
Right.
And it's a way for me to express something that I can't say, and it's saved my life.
Look, I checked you guys out and the music and everything, and you are like amazing musicians.
Thank you very much.
I love the music, I love the vibe, everything. When did it begin?
For me, music began in high school. I was very into rugby, and that's kind of all I did with my time outside of hanging out with friends. And then I dislocated my shoulders and couldn't play rugby anymore. It was kind of in the position where it would be an operation or don't play rugby. And during that time, when I was in, kind of a therapy place with my shoulders and trying to get my physical health back in order, I found music. My grandmother, before she passed away, gave me a ukulele. And then when my shoulders dislocated, I kind of put time into learning.
Was she a musician?
She was not. She was not a musician. I'm actually from a very, I don't want to be rude to them, but quite an unmusical family. There's only a couple people in my family who are super musical. My sisters and my brothers. But no, my gran and my parents were not musical, but it was kind of one of those gifts where I'd asked for it.
She could see what you were not seeing by then.
Yeah, no, not by then. I suppose I played around a lot and pretended to be a musician, but it wasn't really legit. But then I found ukulele and kind of caught the bug for music and learning it and being in the position of not knowing anything.
Right.
And then beginning to learn those things for me were always the most fun times during music. So after ukulele, I got into guitar, and then right at the end of high school, I told my parents that music and sound is what I wanted to do, and I would do anything to do it, and went to Cape Town, started studying sound, and met Ian.
Wow. Ian, for you, did you just meet him when you were, getting into music, or has it been something that you've been doing since you were a kid, or how did it begin for you?
Similarly, my parents are not into music like as a profession, but my parents played in a band together when I was a kid.
Both your mom and dad?
My mom and my dad, played together in a band, and I grew up around their band practices and never pulled a wire out or made trouble. I'd mimic their movements. I started playing musical instruments since I was like 5 years old.
Nice.
So it's been music for me. I knew it was music for me, and I feel very lucky to be able to have found that in my life.
That's right.
To know that I'm passionate and driven to go for it always.
Yeah.
And the music is always with me. I can always hear it.
Mm.
So yeah, when I met this guy, I had already studied guitar
Okay.
for a couple of years in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met him in Cape Town when we were both studying sound production,
Yeah.
and I was sort of stalking him in the in the lunch area because I
Yeah.
was checking him with his guitar, his super nice guitar, and just for like a couple of days, I was just eyeballing him from
Yeah.
across the room, and then
Yeah.
eventually he looked at me. He was like, "What's up, dude?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And
Can
I
we do
came
this
over.
thing?
Yeah, and I just.
But look, what would you say the music scene in Cape Town is compared to the one in Johannesburg? Because obviously it's different.
Yeah, yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's smaller. It's smaller. There's a lot less venues to play in Cape Town.
Yeah.
But that doesn't speak for the talent. Like the talent in Cape Town and the
Right.
talent in Johannesburg, it's hard to compare them. There
Right,
are monster musicians sleeping everywhere.
Yeah.
But I would say that Cape Town is like the melodic side of music, and Johannesburg feels like the rhythm side of it.
Bradley, for you?
I think, Cape Town, as you said before, is an international hub,
Yeah.
for music. So you'll find a lot of people, the influences there are a lot more international, and you'll find a lot more artsy. I use art house more as a word. Like if you think about film, art
Yeah.
house is very independent and very not conforming to any rules of music. There are a lot of indie artists and people who really try to push the bar in terms of being experimental and being alternative. I find Joburg's scene to be a little more real in terms of there's a lot of rock and jazz, and the identity here feels a little bit more South African.
Yeah.
Cape Town has that international metro
Feel.
feel to it. Joburg feels like South Africa.
I agree.
Joburg has that, I don't know, there's like a spirit here.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah.
energy here that,
Yeah.
that can't really be explained unless you live here. But as Ian said, there are powerhouse musicians all over the country. But I've definitely been shocked by some of the people I've seen here in terms of just the quality of music here.
Yeah.
I found, Cape Town has this very chilled attitude towards performing.
The
and,
ethical side, right?
But Joburg has this, it has to be perfect. It
Yeah.
has to be like,
I mean, there are so many musicians out there in Joburg that if it's either you do it or you go home.
yeah.
That attitude.
And everybody is fighting for an opportunity in Joburg
Yeah.
in a different kind of way. Like it's the fight or flight kind of thing. So
Yeah.
when musicians here get the opportunity, they
don't play.
They don't waste it. They don't play games. Not to be rude to Cape Town. This isn't like an attack on Cape Town. There's just a far more laissez-faire and chilled and almost youthful vibe about
Yeah.
Cape Town. I would say Cape Town is like a young adult, and Joburg is like a grown person
Yeah.
who's been through a lot, kind of thing. So I just find the quality standard here made us raise our standards as
Right,
musicians,
right.
because it just felt like there was a different kind of competition here in a healthy sense, not in a malicious sense, but in a, I want to be better because you're so good. I want
That's
to
right.
improve
That's
myself
right.
because I want to
That's
be on
right.
your level.
But what do you intend performing for us today?
So the first song we're performing is called Mirror on the Wall.
Okay.
It was kind of written during the peak of the lockdown.
Yeah.
We hadn't really left the house at all for months. And I'd kind of gotten into a space of a new tuning on the guitar to kind
Right.
of freshen things up for myself. And
Right.
Mirror on the Wall was kind of one of the catalysts for this new kind of sound that we were going for.
Interesting. You know what? Let's do Mirror on the Wall, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Amazing.
All right, take it away, guys.
Tell me who's the fairest of the moon. Snow that fell is staring through my door. Tell me who's the fairest of the moon. Am I still telling you? A fool to do these things I always do. Am I still telling you? cold I will warm you. I kept this awful sober, but nothing makes me feel the way I do. Running through this winter, broken in a splinter, a fool to do these things I always do. Seasons changing, so I never will. It's time I've learned to murder, time I've killed. Mirror, mirror, mirror on my wall. Still don't know the fairest of the moon. Am I still tethered to you? A fool to do these things I always do. Am I still tethered to you? A fool to do these things I always do. Cold I will roll you. I kept this awful sober, but nothing makes me feel the way I do. Running through this winter, broken in a splinter, a fool to do these things I always do. No, I'm a fool to do these things I always do. No, I'm a fool to be here running after you. Yes, I'm a fool to do these things I always do. No, I'm a fool to do these things I always do. I'm a fool to do these things I always do. No, I'm a fool to do these things I always do. No, I'm a fool to do these things I always do. No, I'm a fool to do these things I always do.
All right, welcome back one more time to the Sound of Silence with myself, Drum People. I told you I have amazing guys right here on the show. You heard that skill on the guitar, the music, the vocals. Look, this is not noise. This is good music. Guys, this is good music.
Thank you.
Good music.
We try. We
Yeah.
definitely try.
Tell me, look, when you study music, obviously you gain a lot of knowledge and insight and you understand what you're doing, even the instrument that you're holding.
Yes.
You understand it
Yes.
more. Would you say that studying music had an impact on your sound or your entire career?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think when you study sound and you start to learn an instrument and really get into any field professionally, a lot of your opinions change, you know. And I think the biggest thing for me studying sound was it almost broke music for me.
Yeah.
Because since studying sound, I can't listen to music in the same way. It's not like I'm listening to a jam. It's
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how they got that bass tone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the mix. I'm almost analyzing constantly. That was kind of the biggest change. And it also changed my music taste.
I mean,
So-
even when you talk to somebody, you're thinking the range
Yeah.
of the person's voice.
Yes.
Like, you know,
these kind of conversations
Yeah.
weren't things I spoke about with, my normal homies.
they wouldn't understand it.
It's not something you really can talk to anybody outside
Yeah.
of musicians
Yeah.
about, because it's kind of almost an obsession. Like you start to really obsess over how did they do that?
Yeah.
How did Michael Jackson record that tone? How did Quincy produce an album of that standard? There's a lot more analyzing going on. Look, there is a part of it where you kind of look at things in a very different sense of, I almost had a pessimistic view towards the industry for a while after learning about it.
Right.
Because I almost felt like musicians do get treated like meat in a sense. Specifically with streaming and a lot of the platforms, I think music gets treated as a commodity these days and doesn't really get the respect it used to. I mean, you used to have to go to a record shop and listen to the records. And you have to really put effort in to get better taste. And now we have these platforms that do it all for us, that people kind of don't look for new bands and don't support new bands, and that kind of stuff you become cripplingly aware of as a musician in the space. But yeah, studying music changed my entire viewpoint on how I listen to music, how I approach music. So I was definitely affected by studying.
Beautiful. Ian,
Yes.
look, let's hit the nail right on the head. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about. But as for me, I want to talk about it, and I want us to talk about it. You are white.
Yeah.
He's mixed race.
Yes.
Do you think that the skin color has anything to do with the industry, like the kind of places you perform, the kind of places you don't get to perform because you're white or because you're black?
No, for sure. I recently, I'm not just a muso, I'm also like a sound guy, a techie, a stage tech, damn good at it. And I did Soweto metal show, like a metal show in Soweto, a couple weeks ago. That was freaking awesome. And there were black bands and white bands playing, and people showed up to actually come and watch that. So it was, we live in South Africa,
but
there's so many
actually,
languages here,
it's
so it's a
global
division,
thing.
but it's also something that binds us all together, and we need to get to the place where we can start learning from each other and start seeing that, oh, your rhythm is slightly different from my rhythm, but together we bleed red, my blood's red, we feel pain, but I do feel a certain way. I don't feel like I would be welcome in certain venues. But if I were to go to that venue, I would have to come prepared with a certain sound. If I have the right sound, then my skin color doesn't matter. That's what I believe. I don't think it matters that much anymore.
I mean, it's music, Bradley. Look, I mean, you are right in between. You're right in between. Look, let's say concerts like Opikopi and stuff like that. You won't hear that Slylo Slaughter is going to perform there, for example. You know, and the same way you won't have like a white band going to perform in Mapungube Jazz Festival. Why can't we just be humans and enjoy music?
I wish people did kind of treat it more that way. I think one of the biggest things I noticed in Cape Town is a severe lack in diversity. Not by way of color, but more by way of the type of people you mingle with and the type of people that are at shows. It's very middle class and upper class in Cape Town, even if you're poor. That's kind of the facade that you're putting on. And I find a lot of the separation that I see is way more economic nowadays than racial, you know. But I definitely, you know, I've played in small towns, you know, like Prince Albert, where I would never see myself jamming an event like that.
It's like a mega Afrikaans place.
Like an Olive Festival, super Afrikaans, you know. But I had a wonderful time and people were super welcoming. So I think that to me was one of my first signs that we were coming into a change. You know, there will always be closed-minded people who just won't be open to other sounds and other things. But I believe there are real music listeners out there that the first thing they're listening to is the music,
the sound,
more than anything else.
That's right.
Is the sound and the feeling that they're being affected.
Yeah, we outnumber them.
Look, you're working on your next EP.
So I'm currently working on a record.
Okay. What can we expect, actually?
It's definitely going to be different.
Because I want to listen to it, like today.
I'll share it with
today,
you.
man.
I'll share it with you soon. So, yeah, a lot of my stuff in the past has been band orientated and very acoustic. But I've always had an immense appreciation for digital sound. And specifically, you know, synthesizers. I love the entire Roland range from the Junos, and those kind of sounds have played into some of my favorite records. I mean, the Thriller album by Michael Jackson has stayed constant in my life, and I've always, no matter what the controversy is around him and all of that, that album to me is probably one of the best pop albums that exists. And I know a lot of musicians were affected by that record, as was I. So I've spent a lot of time kind of working on something a little more digital, you know, a little more funky and a little more groovy. a lot of my projects in the past have been acoustic and folky, and I find I'm leaning into more R&B
Yeah.
kind of vibes with this
Yeah.
new record.
Beautiful.
Soul and R&B kind of leaning very hard, but it is something a lot more different. There's a little bit of a statement about the music industry where it is right now. And kind of where I feel like I am right now in my life.
Excellent.
You know.
Excellent. No, I can't wait to listen to it, man. So if somebody wants to book you for gigs and want to get hold of you, how do they contact you?
So generally you can give us a shout on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's Beadley Bath, BATH,
Right.
Bradley, BRADLEY. And otherwise you can get in contact with me on my website, which is just bradleybath.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
It's got my bio, all the latest releases, live performances, contact details,
Yeah.
hyperlinks.
Yeah.
So generally if anyone wants to book us, they can just reach out. We're always
Beautiful.
open.
Beautiful.
We're always,
Beautiful.
amped to play shows.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, guys. Look, thank you so much for coming to hang out with myself and everyone else. And let's do your next song. All the best with your music, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And you say nothing could ever work when you're falling through the floor. And we knew time would always come when you're locking doors, you misdirected. And it's the feeling that might fade, and you know the feeling always wins. And it's the thought of it that counts and leaves me heaving. And it's the hope that you're around and I'm not leaving. And now I'm praying that you're not just staring with those caramel eyes. It's you I seem to see. And we knew the time would always come, and no one would remain. And yet still I'm standing by your side. In the pouring rain, we're misdirected. And it's the feeling that might go. You know the feeling always fades. And it's the thought of it that counts and leaves me heaving. And it's the hope that you're around and I'm not leaving. And now I'm praying that you're not just staring with those caramel eyes. It's you I seem to see. It's you I hope to be. It's you I seem to see, to see, to see. Those caramel eyes keep looking. Breathing in, night becomes a day. My hope it fades away while I'm running back. Thought it might remain. The day it's not the same, and I'm floating myself here. And it's you that seems to see. So what's the point when it's love that's on my mind? I can't go on. It's such sad infatuated time. It's just you that's on my mind, staring down a crooked line with those caramel eyes, with those caramel
All right, guys, that's it for the day. Thank you so much for hanging out with myself and Bradley and Ian right here on The Sound of Silence. I had a great time. Great music indeed. And I'm sure you also had a great time. Look, if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please make sure that you subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you get all future notifications of our upcoming shows. Until then, I will see you same time, same place next week. God bless. Keep well. Bye.